Hello, this is Mr. Kent of MrKent.com. And it was just about almost exactly a month ago that I was able to purchase a set of DJI goggles. Now, I need to explain, I have to be thankful for this because I'm on Social Security and a few $100s that comes in off of my website and YouTube channel. And that's my budget. And these run about $350, and I will put a link to a video that I watched where they tore apart the goggles, and I can see after watching that video I can see why they are $350. There's a whole bunch inside of that little box, which isn't little. So I've got a list here of things that I like and things that I really don't like about it. And then I'm going to show you something else that I have here. Well, I'll just show you one of the pros of this box, because you can carry your tablet in this box. I'll just leave it over there and we'll get started here. So, let me get it out here. Whoop, wrong way. There we go. Okay, so it comes like this. And the goggles are, there's tons of opening of boxes and stuff for these, so I won't go too much into it. But that button with the bump on it, that's called the function button, and the button with the dip in it, that's called the exit button or the return button. And so far, I haven't found any use for that function button yet. I might be missing something. I've only had it a month, okay? So let me set those there. And then this carrying case is, I'm taking good care of it because it's very handy. Now, let me show you inside here. I'll just throw this over there for now, thank you. Okay, let me show you inside here. There's a lot of extra room to carry little things besides putting them in a box somewhere else. For instance, the reading glasses that I use, lanyard to hold my regular glasses around my neck while I'm flying, the controller, the USB that goes from the phone to the controller, and then once we pull out the headband, then down inside is this is what holds my phone to the controller. So there's a lot of extra room inside of there. Now, it sounds like I'm all pro. Well, let me get started first of all here. We'll put this down out of the way. It is very handy. And we'll make some room here, okay? So I'm just going to go down my list here because I don't want to forget anything, and I should probably be checking it off. First thing you want to do when you get the goggles is to slide them together. Make sure they click. Everybody says that if you watched any videos, okay? And then you're going to have to roll this out a little bit to fit on your head, all right? So the first thing you want to do, though, before you do anything, is put them together and take the USB cable that you have and connect it to here. And I don't know, I can't remember if a USB cable comes with this or not. And to your computer, and you open up the DJI Assistant 2 and you download the latest firmware, and it's pretty simple. As soon as you open up, if you've got this all plugged in and turned on, when you open up Assistant 2, then it brings up a little icon of the goggles. You click on that and it takes you right to where you need to go. So that's pretty simple. Now, when you go to set it up after that, and you're going to have to link it to your the rest of the system. Oh, by the way, let me take off my new hat, which isn't new, but I thought, well, I'll just wear this one for fun, from Phoenix, Arizona. All right. So what you want to do before you ever start putting, well, first of all, you get your drone turned on and you get your controller and all that going, and then you put this on your head. Now, this thing up here, this is the safety thing. Everybody says, oh, they're heavy and they feel like they're going to fall off. You get them on your head nice and steady, and this keeps them from falling off. Now, if I had really long hair, maybe it would be a little more scary, but it works fine. They hang in there. They don't fall off. My head might fall. No, I'm teasing. Because they are a little bit heavy. Okay, so you get them on, clamp them tight, and then you go ahead and start going through the process of linking them to your system. And by the way, you're going to have to learn that use the left hand to do that. I'm back here because it feels like they're going to come off, but they don't. You use your left hand to, because if you use the right hand, this is where the touchpad is. And when I was setting mine up, I can tell you, I got into a foreign language. It was probably Chinese, because I was using my right hand and I hit the button and didn't realize what was going on because it's turned on, okay? So, learn to use your left hand. Now, here's a con that I found out right away. When you have 720 or 1030 resolution with the goggles, and I love the 1030 because you can just perfectly see what you're, if you look at some of my videos, you're going around and detail on the ground and everything. But anyway, so if you set these to 1080, then it sets the camera on the drone to the same setting, and that's a con. I don't like that because I like to shoot in 4K. But here's the workaround: you can get this all set up, go in, set the menu up on the goggles, and then go back and flip that baby up. Go to your phone, switch it back to 4K, then you're filming in 4K, and it doesn't change this back. This just stays at 1080, and you're filming at 4K, and it works out fine. But I call that a con because these should not change when you change your viewing. You shouldn't be changing the settings of the camera, because I didn't realize it first, but that's what it did. All right? Okay, now, the pro in all of this is that if you've watched if you've got a history of watching my videos, you know that I went for about almost 3 years with a bebop, and from the time I got it, I got the outfit that had the goggles for FPV, and I loved it. No, I don't have any issues with it. But you had to slide your smartphone into the goggles, and then when I got the Bebop 2, well, then it had a nicer set of goggles, but you still had to use your phone. And the resolution of the phone just does not match the resolution that you get here. It's unbelievable. And if you watch that video I'll put a link to, when the guy starts tearing it apart, you can see why you get such good resolution there. So, because you get 1080 all the way across the screen, sharp, pixel sharp. All right, now, okay, so another con is it doesn't always remember the menu settings that you set it to. Not all of them. Now, it always remembers the settings for head tracking, but like I like my head tracking to be real gentle and slow, and at first I didn't realize I needed to adjust that, but I've adjusted it and it stays there from time to time. But it doesn't remember the settings that you have for the resolution. Like you'll set it to 1080, and then when you turn it on next time, it's back to 720. And I like 1080 much better than 720. So that's a con. Okay. A pro is that these never run into those. Okay. You can put this on. In fact, a lot of guys recommend that you put it to your face, get it where you want it, and then put this on your head, and then everything that you're looking at is going to be lined up with your eyes. Okay, so, and by the way, as you know, if you've watched any videos, that roller on the bottom changes the width to match your eyes, and I'm definitely not narrow-minded, so my eyes are way far apart. Anyway, call me the wide-angle guy. Okay, so but it doesn't remember that. Glasses are fine. Now, another a pro or con. You can call it what you want. At first, when I first put them on, they felt like they were going to fall off. But if you clamp this clamp nice and tight, it won't break anything, and it sticks them nice and tight to your head. And you can do all kinds of stuff. Move them down, move them up, bend over, do all kinds of stuff with them. And they, you know, at first they feel like they're going to fall off, but they won't if you just get it tight. So I don't know if to call that a con or a pro, but it's just something that you got to learn, and once you get it figured out, it's not going to fall off your head. Maybe if they tipped you upside down, it would. Okay, now here's the pros and the cons for this touch panel on the side. Okay, now first of all, let me explain something. When I was teaching at a computer school, and the students had to be able to type at 60 words a minute to get an A out of when they graduated. They had a hard time because they come in and they're doing hunt and peck, okay? And then I had classes, and I even have stuff online for people to teach them how to use touch typing, okay? And what I would tell my students, I would say, do you drive a car? Yeah? Have you ever, do you look down at the pedals when you're driving? No, you don't. You did the first time, you know, where's that at, where's that at? But pretty soon your body learns that, no, that's, my feet remember where that goes. And I explained that to them, and sure enough, it helped them because, yeah, you have to look at first, but pretty soon when you start practicing without looking, it's no different than driving a car. And and that's the way what happens with the touch screen. You put let me get this loosened up again here, we'll put it on. When you put the touch screen down, use your left hand, put your touch screen down. Now, at the first, man, you're bumping everything and it's all getting all messed up. But pretty soon you begin to learn, it's like your hand comes up and bunk, bunk. It's like when I was a pilot, and every 2 years you have to go in for your biennial check and physical, and they would say, close your eyes and touch your nose. There you go. Okay, you're a good pilot. No, but you had to be able to, and that's the same thing with these. After you've done it a few times, the touchpad is right there, and you just reach up, and you don't even need to think about where is my hand. So I don't know if you want to call that a pro or a con, but eventually it becomes a pro. Another thing, it's very sensitive. You don't have to hit twice to get it to work. I don't have the controller out here, but the buttons on the controller, the 5-in-1 button on the top and the 2 buttons on the bottom, you can use those instead of the touchpad, and that might be your preference. Me, I was trying it that way, and maybe it's just my shaky hands, but with that 5-in-1 button, I always have trouble with it no matter what I'm trying to do with it. So I just decided I'm just going to use the touchpad because it's much more understandable and easy to use. You come down to enter a menu, you go up to exit the menu. You go forward and back to go right and left through the menu. And then, of course, if you want to, you notice where my hand is? If you want to go into the head tracking, you use 2 fingers and you get a different menu, and then you go through that menu like that. So it's something you just get used to, and after a while it becomes a pro and not a con. And of course the bottom buttons, as I said, the buttons on this now, these control the width of the eyes, and then this button here is called a function button, but I have not found anything that it works with. Maybe it's for future use. And this here is the return button, and yes, it works. You can get out of a menu, go back out of a menu using that. So that's a handy button, and it works well. All right. When you go to bind your goggles to the rest of the system, you go into your menu, and there's no way to record the screen on those things, so I couldn't find a whole lot of good graphics to explain, but you'll be looking, and on the left side, on your left side, you'll see a menu, and you go in there, and I think it's the second one down, maybe. Anyway, you hit that, and then you select the model of drone that you're going to be binding to. and then you hit that, and then you decide, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then it says confirm, and you go through about 2 steps, and then finally you start getting a countdown. Well, every time I have rebound these to the drone, it has taken about, you think, is that ever going to happen? Well, it takes at my system takes about 40 seconds, so it will happen. Now, the only thing that another con is when you bind this to the system, then you can no longer use 5G, 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, because this goes with 2.4 and it changes everything in your controller to 2.4, and so you're stuck with 2.4. And that's not it's not a bad thing, because generally when you're flying FPV, you're not getting real far away. But in my neighborhood, it's not a good thing. I'd rather just fly in 5G all the time. But then if you want to go back to 5G, it tells you right in the menu on your controller. You go rebind. You rebind the controller to the drone, and then your goggles won't work. And so that's kind of a con as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And by the way, when you bind back to the drone, it's instant. As soon as you click the bind button, it's instant. And the instructions on your goggles, they'll tell you all about how to do that. Another thing too, this here, I was real kind of concerned about this button here, because you try to pull these things out and they don't want to come out. And then even if you push the button, they still don't feel like they want to come out. But you just force it. And I looked inside of there, and it didn't look to me like it was the best design, but it works. So snap together and then snap apart, and nothing breaks. So, and let me see. I think I told you about the carrying case, and you can also carry you can carry your phone in that little compartment in the bottom, and you can carry the side of the carrying case. I've got a video up on that if you're interested. Anyway, I've had it 1 month. I'm still learning a lot. I'm having a great time, a wonderful time with these, and I wish they were affordable for everybody, because you would really enjoy them. Save up your pennies. And it was just my blessing that our insurance company sent us a refund, and and so my wife said, "Where'd that refund go?" Anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and God bless.